Hello and welcome to Finextra's Financial Cloud Summit. I'm Hannah Wallace, and with me now is investor, entrepreneur, our keynote speaker for the event and CEO and founder of Moblox, Piers Linney. Piers, thank you very much for taking the time out of the event to come and speak with us.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on, and listening to your keynote this morning, and indeed discussions already being had on the floor at the event. There's no doubt that banks are increasingly looking to adopt cloud solutions. So taking that into account and the benefits that cloud brings, do you think that banks should be looking at it as more than just a technology?
Well, I was saying in my keynote that I'm quite amazed. I was doing these keynotes 7 years ago, talking about cloud, migrating to the cloud, not in financial services per se. And it's important that the audience understand this, that this is the change you have to make. So nobody now would set out creating infrastructure that's a mainframe, the way a lot of they're sort of stuck with. There's a huge amount of technical debt, and that transition is very, very difficult to do. We have to do it. So number one is expectations are changing, costs, flexibility, and if you don't make the change, then we'll talk about this again, is that eventually you won't be able to catch up.
That's right. So you mentioned the change in customer expectations and demands then. So how should banks look to deploy cloud to meet those changing demands?
So you've got to look at it in sort of in layers almost. So increasingly, the cloud infrastructure is something which you can, it's multi-tenanted, it's public. You shouldn't be trying to build it yourself. People say you've got private clouds. I'm not a big believer in that. So look at it in terms of layers, and what you need to do, where the real competitive advantage is at the top. It's that software layer that you can own and control and develop services. It's not, you're not in the data center business, you're not in the infrastructure business, you're not in the networking business, you're in the financial services business, and those services increasingly are software driven. So you have to change the mindset, the approach, even the culture. It's got to pervade the whole business, to have that focus on the customer, how you add value, and how you deliver services or integrations that work for them. If you can avoid building it, build it, don't build it, integrate it. Find a platform that somebody else already built, with billions building, and integrate that using APIs or however you need to do it.
Some very good advice there. And another counterpart that I know you're really keen on that is helping banks transform their businesses and deliver those digital services is, of course, AI. So what are some of the advantages then that marriage between AI and cloud technology, and how is that shaping the banking industry going forward?
So it's that misnomer, we haven't quite got AI yet, it's more machine learning. But one of the things about cloud services is, with all the big names, is that they spend literally billions on the infrastructure, on it being scalable, on it being the economies of scale they benefit from, and they're building into that, so security, regulatory compliance, and AI, the ability to, or machine learning really, the ability to look at data, even unstructured data, understand it, process it, analyze it, extract insights you haven't even thought of. And you see now in the sort of more the consumer world really, like ChatGPT, Google's coming up with something, everybody else will as well, and that's going to be embedded into their cloud services. So that technology is already changing, as you will know, content creation, it's changing education, but increasingly that's going to be embedded into cloud services. And the thing about cloud and technology is the pace of change accelerating. So it was linear, it's becoming exponential, and you can't keep up with that. You can't keep up with the infrastructure, you can't keep up with the software, the technology, the AI, and why do you need to? When you can almost buy it, not quite as simple as that, but off the shelf. And AI will change the game dramatically. That's another reason why, if you have access to that technology in a flexible, scalable, cost-effective way, then your competition has.
All right, again, ending on some very good advice there. And watch this space, it's safe to say. But look, Piers, I know you've got a busy day ahead of you, and I'll let you get back to the event, but thank you so much for sharing your insights today.
Thank you for having me.